Yeah, I got the first coat of paint up there. See there? And just using that 6-inch mini roller. And if you keep this edge of the frame clean, if you don't dip it down too far into your paint, you keep that clean, you can run that right along the edge of the wall. That's kind of what I did there, see? That's how I got that line fairly straight along there without getting it on the wall. Okay. And of course you have to go different directions and stuff, but see, I did that same thing along the tile. See? So I got a fairly straight line. I went along the wall that way, then I flipped the roller around and went the wall up this way, flipped around, went the paint frame along this wall. Okay, and I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna put a second coat. I think I'm going to, because I can see a little bit of daylight through there. It's hard to get a perfectly one coat coverage over a tan semi-gloss wall as it is. You know what I mean? And there you go. And so when this dries all the way, I'll take a look at it. And if I have to put a second coat, I will. That's why I took a plastic bag and I just made sure my roller cover was wet, had enough paint on it, and then just rolled it right up in there, folded it over. That way I don't have to rinse that out. And then I can pull that plastic off and be ready to go again. Okay? And it's not going to take very long for this paint to dry. Now, when I first started, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to get the full coverage on one coat or not. And so I thought, I'm going to put 2 coats. And so I started putting a little bit that way. Then I went over here and did this way. It's really a good way is to, wherever you start, you finish. So if you're going to go back and forth this way, go back and forth that way, all the way across. And see, then I ran across that way on both sides, you know, a strip and a strip. And then I went from here and blended it in, and then went across, and then started over here, went across, and then I went all the way about to the wall with my roller cover. And see, with a 9-inch roller cover, it'd be very difficult to get it this close. First off, very difficult to get a nice even coverage and not get anything on the walls and stuff. And I wanted to show you just with the one coat. This is dry paint here, but see the tiny little flakes, the flecks, those weren't on there before. See all of them? That's from the roller cover. Any little white bits you see on there is from the roller cover that I just did just now. See them all? So you can imagine, if you don't cover your floor and you think, your counters or your toilet, don't think that the paint's not there. Had I not covered it like that, then I would have to take a sponge real quick, or a damp sponge, wipe off the counter, wipe off the toilet seat, wipe off the tub. As it is, I wiped off the top of this already with the damp sponge. When I get all done, obviously, I'm going to have to go along and wipe that with a scouring pad. You know, I could have spent some extra time and wrapped that up further, but I didn't. But I'm just letting you know what you're going to get yourself into if you don't cover your floors and stuff like that. You know, once I start doing the walls, I'm not going to do the walls just yet, obviously, because that's a different color. And I'm waiting for this. If I end up putting a second coat, obviously I'll do the second coat of that first. Then I can clean up. I don't even have to cut in. I don't think I'm even going to cut in this ceiling yet until I get the walls done. When I do the walls, I'm going to do the same thing around here, so that I just have that little bit left to do. That way I can get all my walls done before I get back into the white paint, cut in the ceiling, cut in the up along here where the grout line was along there. I think I might put a piece of masking tape up there. I'm not quite sure yet, because it's going to be really, really tough for me to cut that in right up next to the old line, you know, where the grout line is all the way across there. I mean, professional painters, oh yeah, no problem, and they're done. You know, I do pretty good, but I'm not a professional painter per se. And what I used to do on the ceilings, in the other ceilings, I just ran my roller right up next to there, and I spooched it into there, and got all kinds on the wall. And I thought, oh, I'll just cut, you know, when I cut in the wall color, I'll just cut in along there, and yeah, that all worked. But because I had the white semi-gloss on there and coming up with the gray, the double-click gray, then when I cut in, I ended up having to cut in the walls twice in some other rooms, and even a couple areas I see that I could have actually done a little bit better job than that, even, all because I got so much white extra on there. So this time I'm going to take my cut-in brush, and I'm going to do, you know, when I'm up against this wall, I'm going to do as good as I can, you know, as best I can. But you know, if I get a little bit on this wall, I know that wall is going to be cut in. So if anything, I want to get that line nice and straight. And if I have any question, I'll go over that edge just barely onto the wall. You see what I mean? Because when I get ready to, after I get done painting the walls, then I'll come in and cut in the wall to the ceiling. It's always easier, I think, to do all your ceilings, cut your ceilings into your walls, and if you get a little bit on your walls, fine. I like to, it's way easier for me to cut the wall into the ceiling rather than the ceiling into the wall. Okay, remember that. Okay, it's just been a few minutes and I'm looking up on the ceiling with my construction light on, because I'm glad I got my construction light so I can look at this carefully after it's dry. I can see areas. I don't know how well it's going to come in with the on video. I can see right in there, right in here where I stopped and goed. And as it's drying, you know, you're going to see splotches, but once it's dry all the way, take a look at it. Get your construction light out, because if you've done a good job, you've taken your light fixture down in your bathroom so that you can get everything painted properly. So if you got a construction light like mine, you know, I would highly recommend you get it out and shine it up on your ceiling, on your walls when you get done. And I kind of figured I was going to have to put 2 coats of paint on the ceiling, because this ceiling was already semi-gloss, and because it was that tan color, there's just virtually no way to get 1 coat of white semi-gloss paint to cover 100% in here. So that's another reason why I wrapped that, because I know I'm going to have to get back in there. I just left this open because, like I say, it's not going to take that long for this to dry. You only need to have it dry to the touch, and it's probably 65 degrees in here, and you know, as long as this area here, once this dries, even if this is slightly wet, well, I would say, depending how big your room is, then you could start over here where you first started your paint, and then by the time you get over this way, this little section will be dry, depending how much time you need. I'm gonna let it dry all the way. I'm gonna get up there and feel it with my hand. As long as it's to the touch, then you're okay. You don't want to put the second coat of paint on until the first coat is dry to the touch, or else you're going to reactivate the first coat, and there's no way you're going to get 100% coverage, nice even lines and all that kind of stuff if your first coat is not dry all the way. Okay, and so even if I would have put the double click gray on the ceiling, I think I would have had to have done 2 coats. It's still up for debate whether or not I'm going to be able to get these areas covered in 1 coat. I don't think so. You know, all of these walls out here, I was able to cover in 1 coat, but yet though initially that was flat wall of this color, and then I used an eggshell out there, and 1 coat covered fine. But because this is a bathroom with semi-gloss on the walls, chances are 1 coat's probably not going to be enough with my semi-gloss double click. Had I realized that, would I have gone with the double click up here on the ceilings? I don't know. All my other ceilings in the rooms where I have semi-gloss paint in the closets, in a storage room, also in the bathroom downstairs, I put white. And so once you start one bathroom, you might as well finish it. But if you didn't start any areas and you're getting ready to repaint, could you do your ceiling the same color as your walls? Yeah, you could, depending what color it is. And it probably would be okay. Then you wouldn't have to cut in your ceiling and your wall per se. You're still going to have to cut in around your tile and your surrounds here, and the baseboard is tile, and then I've got to cut around the cabinet, got to cut in around the toilet, got to cut around the side of the cabinet, the side of the cabinet over here, the door jamb side and the top and that little edge. I've got cut in coming out of my ears in the bathroom. Okay, so hey, I'm okay. I'm glad I'm doing the white, and I'm gonna match what I did everywhere else. So yeah, over time you're gonna end up having to buy a few different paint supplies and all that kind of stuff. But hey, you can do that because you're not paying somebody to paint all your stuff for you from now on. You're gonna do it yourself. And see, I just keep all my extra stuff in here. I got all kinds of paint sticks. See, this is for my big old fat roller. When I do walls, I'll use something like that. I think this is lambskin roller or a commercial construction grade. Let's see what it is. Here's one right here. Super fab, extra rough, 1¼ inch nap, and high production. And that's what I end up using. I use that. That's the same one. See, and actually, this is not lambskin covered. Lambskin costs a little bit more, but lots of painters swear by them, by lambskin cover. See here, I've got a couple extra ones of those. Like if I do walls in a closet or something, I may end up using my 6-inch roller, or for all of the ceilings in the condo, I used this, believe it or not, right here. That my 6-inch. This is actually 6.5-inch nap roller. I don't know why they did that instead of 6. But anyways, keep all that stuff in there. I've got sanding pads for my hand paddle sander. Every time you go to the store, you just ask them for a couple more mixing things. They give them to you, and you know, you'll end up start getting yourself quite the collection. You know, but hey, I've got that bucket for my painting stuff, and then I just set this off to the side with all my painting stuff, and I'm ready to rock and roll anytime I paint.